si Martha, dapat supposedly,
yes, oo nga.
woohoo! She can join.
Oh,
She can join. Come on. Sandali ha. Kilala mo siya, Van? Si Martha? I'm supposing you might have an idea of who Martha is. Very close siya kay VJ.
What's her surname?
Martha
Vincent.
Vincent. From CNN. No. From ANC.
Martha.
She used to cover stocks in the morning. Or
Hindi ko kilala yung ibang friends si Beach eh.
very,
Ayun eh. Ano yun eh?
very private.
Very private.
Nasaan siya ngayon?
Nasa Singapore.
He's in Singapore.
Yeah. He's there.
We are now. May kumakanta.
May kumakanta.
Oh my gosh, naririnig. Wala pa kasi akong magandang headset. Merong nag-birthday sa akin bahay.
What do you call that? The noise cancelling? Diba?
Meron ba dito?
I think meron. Mga noise cancelling headsets para yung background medyo minimized. I'm pretty sure hindi siya cancel but minimized. So,
kailangan kong bumili nun.
you have to kasi it is helpful especially during your meetings and your appointments. Very helpful. Checks ko lang si Martha.
I was watching Social Dilemma earlier. Sobrang scary.
Really?
Have you seen that in Netflix?
From Netflix, yeah.
After that, I remove all my social media apps in my phone.
Seryoso ba to?
Yeah. Pero watch it. It's nice.
Okay. Ang pinapanood ko kasi Lucifer. Anyway. And kasi
pero hindi mo siya, maganda siya. Very interesting.
Very.
Ano? Okay. So again, let's start the discussion. Again, guys, maraming salamat sa aking invitation for us to discuss this. So guys, again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening sa inyo. We are here live to discuss about the uncertainty of COVID-19. And here we are tonight discussing this very timely discussion with three of my friends from the community in the Catholic Church. And we are going to be discussing certain topics that will be somehow relevant to most people in the Philippines, especially in this time of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, as we all know, COVID-19 has started earlier in 2020 and has gone and has dragged on until now. We don't know, we can't see the end in sight yet, but definitely we are hoping to have a vaccine soon. Parang it's more of to protect ourselves. But at the same time, while we are enduring this pandemic and the conditions, we are also enduring some uncertainties in our lives. First, we don't really have any work. If not all of us are jobless, either working from home, terminated, let go because companies are going bankrupt. Okay, especially with ABS-CBN na hindi na renew yung franchise. Na yun na lang ang means namin to connect with the Philippines. Nawala pa. Kasi nawala pa. Anyway,
Hindi ba maabot GMH?
Well, hindi, mahal. Anyway, let's leave it at that. And then, of course, marami sa atin in the Philippines the statistics right now, 4,000 to 3,000 new cases every day. Okay, and it continues to climb. Government has tried its best to actually impose regulations in order to curb the rising cases of COVID, but unfortunately, this is not the government's fault. This is really just a matter of people controlling themselves. It is not just in the Philippines, this is worldwide. Even here in Canada and Alberta, we have rising cases of COVID-19. Pero nasa 100 lang kami, hindi kami mga 3,000. But in any other case, as we all know, COVID-19 is really, really, really dreadful or very deadly in the sense. Kasi it really affects so much lives, so many lives in the Philippines, has claimed so many lives in the Philippines, to be honest. Having to go to the hospital to have yourself tested is one thing. Passing away in the, having an untimely demise during this pandemic is another thing, diba? And it is not free. The problem is the brunt of the expense are shouldered by the family that you leave behind. Okay, but of course we don't want to be going that far na parang we have to die before we can protect ourselves. Kasi having to go to the hospital in itself is already taxing. It is already expensive. Now, I'm thinking of how we can protect ourselves, but we're limiting our discussion to a certain topic, which is insurance, insurances. Tama ba insurances ang tawag pag plural? Oh.
Yeah, pwede naman.
Pwede naman.
Accepted na, accepted lingo.
Right. So this is going to be an informal, friendly discussion among friends, and this is not really formal. Parang, oh, we have to have this and we have to have that. I will be asking questions because I'm not an insurance agent. And guys, we are joined by 3 of my friends who are from the insurance industry, and they are better equipped to discuss these matters because who can better explain this but themselves, di ba? Ako, ang dami kong notion na I thought I was already leaning for them, pero ang dami ko pa rin palang mali, di ba? So again, guys, I would like to start this conversation with, of course, introducing my friends here. Of course, ang nasa right ko, si Vanessa Abrenica, who's a friend of mine ever since 2010? 9.
Hindi ko na matandaan. Okay.
Tandaan na natin eh. So,
Malabas. Okay.
so I've met Vanessa from PJ. Oh, no. I've met Vanessa through
Pat. Okay.
Patricia. Si Patricia na lang dito na rin sa Canada. So I've met her way back. Si Nick.
Uy, wag ka na mag-mention ng name.
Okay. And so
Okay.
I met Vanessa, and since then I know that she's working with in the insurance industry. Okay. And also I would like to introduce to you guys si Fresel Honorio, who is also a friend of mine way back in SFC. She's an accountant by profession. She's still an accountant by profession, but she's also balancing work as an insurance, as a financial advisor. Diba? So, yun yung parang you're really being wise. Oh, and of course, so you're really being wise in securing your future, which is, of course, trying to have a stable job and at the same time trying to have an insurance as your profession as well to help people, diba? And of course, we have Red Pacetes. Red Pacetes is a younger generation of SFC. He is a chapter leader na in Makati, SFC Makati, and he's also with the insurance industry. Sorry, Red, you are from which industry? Are you also? Do you also have a job other than the?
No, I'm a full-time financial advisor.
Oh, nice, financial advisor. And again, also, guys, I will be joined by Martha Vincent as one of my co-hosts. So we will be discussing this. Martha Vinsons is a very good friend of mine, and we've worked together back in SOC since probably 2000. And she's really, she is an anchor she used to be an anchor in ANC, and she has moved on to PSE, the Philippine Stock Exchange, and still she's, every time I wanted to discuss things, she would be a very good listener, and she would be a good discussion starter. So guys, good morning, good afternoon, good
Good
evening.
morning.
Good.
Morning.
So, okay, so can you
Good
give
morning.
a brief introduction of yourselves? Let's go with Red.
Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever, whatever the time is, right, where you are, where you're listening. Okay, as Irvin said, I'm a younger generation SFC. I'm a chapter head of Makati CBD 3. That's a chapter in Makati, Metro Manila. And I've been a full-time financial advisor for 8 years. Prior to that, I was doing corporate communications for the company I am in also right now as a financial advisor. So that's where I well, they say that's where I saw the light. So from an employee, I became a financial advisor.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 38
Grabe.
right now.
No, 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 no.
Grabe.
Uy, wag mo ko tatanong.
May tanungan, may tanungan. Nagulat, may tanungan pala ng edad.
No, 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 no. Oh, okay. O nga pala,
Then,
age is very sensitive for women.
yes, yes. For the
No,
guys,
no,
it's
kasi
fine.
the reason why I'm asking this is because we need to somehow encompass the education, not just to the older people who really need the most, but of course to younger generation who might not need it at the moment, but at the same time will benefit from it, di ba? And basically, it's more of younger generation are prone to saying, malakas pa ako, healthy pa ako. Pero little did they know, those dreadful diseases are infecting younger generation now. And we don't know that. Cancer used to be what? Only infecting people who are what? Older than 50 years old. Now,
Correct.
some of those cancer diseases are now apparent here with the younger generation.
Correct.
Diba? So we
Even
don't
even heart disease, even heart disease.
even heart disease, diba? So I mean, it is wise for us to target not just the older people, but all across the board. Pero don't worry, ladies, I'm not gonna be asking for your age anymore. If you,
It's
okay.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Red, for giving me that brief introduction. How about you, Fresel?
Okay, so good morning, everyone. To everyone who's watching right now. So, kind of sabi ni Cap Irvin, no? I'm a CPA by profession, and I'm doing financial advisor in my free time to secure life. So, my mission actually is securing life and to educate people about financial literacy because and personal finance management. Kasi I think that's very important in our lives. Kapag ka medyo hindi natin alam how to manage our finances, personally, that starts many problem, ganyan. So, yun. I'm a single for Christ member then when I was single, yun. So, ngayon I'm married and I gusto ko mag-transition sa couples for Christ. Yan. So,
Couple.
ayan.
Automatic.
Okay, yes. Yun lang. So right now, I'm working from home due to this pandemic. We're one of the grateful that we can do work from home. And as a financial advisor, we are so lucky that we can do online, securing lives.
Correct.
So that's
Yeah.
very one of blessings din sa atin. Yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you, Fresel. Again, not last but not the least, of course, Vanessa. Hi,
Okay,
Van.
good morning, everyone, or
Are
good
you
evening to
comfortable
everyone.
called as Van or Vanessa?
Yeah, Van. Call me Van. Van. Yeah, call me
Van.
Van.
Okay. Van?
Okay, so hello to everyone, especially Irvin's friends who are watching and following. Okay, so I'm Van and I've been in the insurance industry since 2005, so around 15 years now in the industry. So apart from that, I'm also into real estate and then mga business on this, ano, with family corporation. Yun. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oo, yeah, naalala ko
mm,
sinabi mo sa akin yung your
Mm.
established family business that you're
yeah,
also
so
handling.
and
And
actually
sorry,
in but actually for a big part I do insurance, as in I do, because it's also my personal advocacy. Actually, how I got
Mm-mm.
into this business also is because I wanted to learn. I mean, I wanted to learn about insurance, and then eventually I got
yeah,
it.
because you wouldn't last in this industry if not for me.
Yeah.
Diba? So if you like what Van is doing, she's an advocate of these things and better because somehow it helps really enlighten the work. But anyway, thank you for sharing that, Van. I understand, Van. What province are you? Which province are you from? From your province then?
Sino? From Manila ako? Hindi.
Oh, from Manila. Your parents?
Yeah.
Di ba, hindi ka ba Ilocano?
Yeah, Ilocano. From
You,
Pangasinan. From Pangasinan. My
oh,
parents are from
ikaw,
Oh,
Pangasinan.
Red.
ako,
Saan
Ilocano
ka?
din
Anong
ako.
province?
Yes.
Red? Anong
I'm
province
from
ka?
Isabela.
Oh.
Oh, Isabela ka, di ba? Ikaw, Red?
I'm from Laguna and Pangasinan also.
Okay. Ako rin, taga Laguna
Oh.
yung parents ko. So. Okay, so very kuripot in the sense. Hindi naman kuripot, pero one of the things that sets us apart is
Prudent. Financially prudent.
the financially prudent. Kasi syempre,
Yes.
hard-earned money, we have to make sure that any peso counts, di ba? So, because we don't ask help eh. Yan ang magandang quality natin. We don't ask help from people, but at the same time, kung ano yung pinaghirapan ko, I know for a fact that I have to benefit from it. Okay?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, again, thank you for joining us today, having your personal brief background. The reason why I wanted to discuss this is because of the uncertainty that COVID-19 has brought to each and every one of us. My personal take on this is very personal. My take on this is very personal because I've got a lolo or a granddad or a grandpa who died during this pandemic. He was cremated pending the results of the COVID testing. He was considered as PUI, and then eventually he died without the results being issued. He was cremated, only to find out later that a few days later that he was not. Uh, he's not COVID-19 positive. So it's really hard. And of course, I've got two sisters who are doctors. Na para they have to go through different places in order for them to work. The risk of those frontliners is really great. Diba? So para my lolo is already old. He's, I think, almost 90 years old when he died. So okay na siya, settled na siya. But for those people who died at a very young age, tulad ni Lloyd Cadena. Kasi nanonood kami kay Lloyd eh. Kami ng asawa ko eh. Nung nawala ang ABS-CBN, ang naging connection namin was YouTube. And when we found out that Lloyd Cadena died because of COVID, alam mo yun, he is in his peak of his career. He just recently bought a house. Ang dami niyang investments for his family. But because of COVID, he died. Now, I heard the good thing about him is that he was able to secure his family. I believe he has a life insurance and he has parang mortgage redemption insurance wherein his mortgage has been fully paid. Diba?
Yeah.
I mean, good for Lloyd, but for those people who have died pero without any insurances, that's very, very crucial. Diba? So I think what we need to do is educate people, inform. Let's have this discussion and talk about how we can go about protecting ourselves. I know for a fact that I'm a believer of protecting ourselves. I've got insurance, Sun Life, Philam, just like what I told these ladies a while back. I've secured them ever since I was back in the Philippines, probably 2013 or 2012. Sun Life, I've got the sobrang yun kasi yung kilala ko. Sorry, Bang. So yun kasi kakilala ko. The point is for me, I wanted to have an insurance because even though maliit lang yung magiging parang yung how do you call that, guys? Yung
Face
Coverage.
amount.
coverage.
Coverage.
But yung kinuha ko kasi
Mm.
is more of yung may investment component. Okay?
Yeah.
So yung investment component, even if kahit man ganun lang yung aking nakuha, but at least with investment component, at least the opportunity of it going higher mas maganda. Pero hindi pa ako na-settle noon. I have to go to another company to get another insurance because I wanted to cover all bases. Diba? I don't know if it's correct. I don't know if it's not correct, but that's what I think is right for me. Diba? So hindi ko alam. No one can guide. Alam mo naman kasi back then, ang mga agents, oh bro, kuha ka nito. Okay, sige, kuha ako. Oh bro, kuha ka naman nito. Okay, sige. Diba? Now, nung pumunta ako dito sa Canada, iba na I thought ang Philippines iba, so sabi ko sige, kuha rin ako. Kumuha na naman ako ng another insurance, life insurance. Kumuha rin ako ng critical illness. Little did I know, kunyari, I don't know, when it comes to Sun Life, you can transfer from any jurisdiction to another jurisdiction.
Oh,
I don't know.
I wasn't aware.
I don't know.
I wasn't aware.
Yun ang sabi sa akin. So bro, kayang-kaya. So anyway, so guys, let me hear your thoughts on the insurance first. Of course, having an insurance is very crucial, but let me know your thoughts on, in general, about what insurance is. Okay? Who can start?
I think Van has a very good idea of what insurance is. I actually agree with her direction about insurance.
Okay. And how about
So
you,
does
President?
Does it mean so? Okay. So should I start or
Yeah,
you wanna go
Van,
ahead?
you should.
Yes.
Okay,
He's
sige.
the pioneer of this
Okay.
industry.
No, actually, because for me, first of all, you mentioned about diba, yung personal finance, diba? Na you said your friend mo, like you get, sometimes you just get because your friend told you to get, ganyan. So, ako personally, personal finance, finance is your, kaya nga personal finance, it's your responsibility. So it's really, if you want to manage your finances or have good, or to do planning, you have to start with yourself. As in, not get a friend, actually. That's what I advise. You have to lay down ano yung priorities mo. And you have to be very clear on that when it comes to personal financial planning. Because your priorities will also dictate which products or which solutions would best address that. And if you're very firm about it, if I mean, it's not very firm, but if you're aware of or you've gone through the process of thinking about what is important to you, yung mga ganon, and then your budgeting, ganyan. So it will be easy when you talk to a financial advisor because a financial advisor will guide you. But ultimately, kasi it's your responsibility. For me, as I'm talking about as a person, as a individual, diba? So yon. So basically, first, yon, I just want to parang say that na it's personal finance is your personal responsibility. So you have to take ownership on that. Okay, second, insurance. Okay, for me, okay, it's a risk management tool. Okay, it's a risk management tool. So there are different kinds of insurance, diba? So each kind of insurance addresses a specific need. That's why nga, I mentioned, that's why you have to kind of know your need first, diba? Because different types of insurance address a different type of need. So sometimes people will feel na, ay, rami-rami ko ng insurance. But you have to consider that ano ba yung ina-address ng insurance na kinuha mo na, or this particular solution or insurance solution that you got. Kasi iba-iba yan eh. So, yon. So, the type of financial product or insurance that you will get will depend also on the need that you have, di ba? On the parang what you're trying to address. So yon. So yun ba yung question mo? Sorry, na. But yon. So in a sense, yun yung framework. So parang it's for me, insurance, it's a risk management tool. So yun yung, it's how you, di ba, you, example, if you have a dependent, you get a life insurance. Diba? If you need to address medical medical needs, diba? You get a health insurance. So iba-iba yan. So yun.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I guess life insurance has evolved from being a life insurance to different
Yes.
structures, different products of insurance. Tama ba?
Correct.
Back then, when I was in the Philippines, there's no such thing as critical illness.
Yeah.
Back then, sa akin. I was about to,
Yeah,
pero wala pa eh. Wala pang critical illness. Until right
Yeah.
now, meron na palang critical illness. Akala ko dito sa Canada meron. Sabi ko, buti pa dito sa Canada meron, pero sa Pilipinas wala. Now, I've been hearing it from you, meron ng critical illness ngayon. Diba?
Yes.
So, any more to add?
Correct.
Siguro,
For me, I'm sorry.
sige, go press it.
Sige,
Go press it.
for me, yung insurance kasi, in layman's term lang ha, like my own experience, I'm paying for my own rent. I'm paying for my own loans. I'm paying for my I'm giving for my family. I'm paying for things na need ng babies ko, ganyan. So, insurance, if there's something happens to me, well, pinaka sikat is yung mawala ko. Wag naman sana, no?
Wag naman sana.
So, that insurance, yes, that insurance will pay those expenses or cost of living na binibigay ko with my family. So, or with my loans, ganyan. So, yun lang yung pinaka-layman's term ng insurance. It is a replacement of a lost income. Yan. So, kagaya na sinabi ni Cap kanina, there's, nag-i-evolve yung insurance because kasi before, life insurance lang talaga in-offer most likely. Now, there is a health insurance and dun nga pumapasok yung critical illness because our lives right now, everything is instant. So, pati buhay natin nagiging instant na. No, 'di ba? So, yung mga kagaya ni Lolo Mocap, no, 90 years old. Wow, that's amazing. The average life of Filipino right now is 75 na lang. So, and my mother itself, 52 years old. Wala na siya. So, due to aneurysm, it's a critical illness. So, the future generation, sobrang umiikli yung lifespan natin. So, that's why right now, it's good that Philippines is offering also health insurances, which is yung critical illness. So, yun naman is, if there's something happens to me, like nagkasakit ako, sabihin na natin, cancer or breast cancer. So, we have certain products that can give us lump sum or cash assistance kapag na-diagnose tayo with those kinds of illnesses. So, yun lang yung for me as insurance.
Perfect.
Si Red, ano yung sasabihin mo, Red? Sorry.
Yeah. I just wanted to add on the thought of Irvin Hiccup, no. Sabi niya kasi parang wala pa yung critical illness before. Actually, critical illness insurance, health insurance has been around already for the past more than 20 years actually. Yes. Nagkakaroon lang siguro ng resurgence ngayon because I think it's a cultural shift also. Ngayon kasi mas nagiging aware na mga tao about health insurance because meron tayong wellness thinking. We want to be healthy, especially since people are starting to contract cancer at a younger age, heart disease at a younger age. Kaya din nag-e-expand or nag-e-evolve din yung industry. Before, totoo naman, insurance, basically life insurance. Pag nawala yung insured, as Bresel said, and just to follow Van's risk management na approach, pag nawala siya, yung income niya, yung economic value niya will be replaced by the coverage. So actually, one term that we use in the industry to call life insurance is it's a form of income continuation
Income what?
because income continuation
Mhm.
because if someone gets sick or someone passes away and he or she has dependents, um, the income or his economic value disappears because he passed away. Wala na magtatrabaho, wala nang magpapasok ng salary or yun, income stream every month or every year. So your insurance, our insurances, that's what replaces them. That's why I agree also with Van, it's risk management. And the view of it being an investment, sa amin kasi, we say it's an investment because we expect something for it to gain. Um, and the traditional life insurances, those that does not, those do not na walang investment na nakalink sa kanya. Of course, now there are insurances with investments, but traditionally, it's not typically an investment. It's there to replace what you are gaining from your existing investments or from your existing income streams. Thus, I agree with Van once again. It is to manage the risks of losing those possible income streams.
So
But
it's
yun,
more of an income continuation talaga.
yes, yes.
It's
Like
not really okay.
That's for
yeah,
ano,
yeah,
I
like
think, yeah.
yeah. Like if we get sick, that's why siguro kaya very prevalent ngayon ang health insurances and critical illness. If we contract cancer, especially if we're doing chemo or I know, usually we're no longer fit to work. So, diba, most of the companies, buti kung they're very compassionate, but some companies will tend to let you go. Um, and paano na yung income mo from that? Especially since kailangan mo pa yung income mo from that sana, from your work, to pay for your medical expenses. So
Yun
that's
ang good.
why you have insurance to pay for those medical expenses.
Exactly.
To
And
rep-
that's where I'm coming from. Kasi the problem in the Philippines, healthcare is not free. Every
Mm.
time you go to a doctor for a consultation, you have to right away pay for a consultation fee. Sabihin natin 500 pesos pa rin ba dyan? Ngayon, dati 500
Bang
pesos.
ganun.
Sabihin na natin,
300 to 300 and up.
di ba? But the
Kung,
point is, there are insurances that can cover those consultation fees. Tama ba?
Correct,
yes,
correct.
yes.
Meron, di ba? Now, of course, let's not talk about cancer. Let's talk about diseases in general.
Ay, okay.
Dialysis, any other contracted diseases other than cancer. Every time you have to go to the hospital to have yourself checked and have any tests for that matter, you have to pay. Tama ba?
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm, mhm.
X-ray, CT scan, MRI. CT scan and MRI sobrang mahal. Di ba? Dialysis itself per session, sobrang mahal. Di ba? If
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken, 3,000 per session.
Mm.
Di ba? Eh magkano lang ang average na income ng isang Pilipino? Sabihin natin ang minimum wage earner nasaan? 15,000 pesos
Yeah.
to 20,000
Even less,
pesos.
even less, even
Even
less.
less, di ba?
Yeah.
If you contracted, say for example, you're on renal, stage 4, renal, end stage renal disease, kidney
Mm,
disease,
mm.
and you have to undergo dialysis. One hemo costs around 3,000. Yes, PhilHealth is there, di ba? I think sinasubsidize kung may pera pa ang PhilHealth, di ba? Sinasubsidize ng hindi kasi usually ang ginagawa ng PhilHealth is more of agreement with hospital. Okay, you admit this, we will pay you, I owe you, di ba? But the problem is, it doesn't cover 100%. Sabihin natin you be subsidized, but you still have to pay. 3,000. Sabihin natin 1,500 kailangan mo bayaran. Kung 3 times a week siya, 1,500, 3,000, 4,500 per week, times 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, almost 20,000 a month. lahat ng sweldo mo napunta na ron. Paano pa kaya yung pagkain mo? Paano pa kaya yung, sabihin natin, yung mga gastos mo sa pag-commute? Paano pa yung iba mong gastusin? Nawala na, di ba? So somehow, I think, very crucial yung magkaroon ng ganitong klaseng health insurances in order for you to protect yourself, in order for you to somehow, like what you are saying, di ba? Yung tipong income continuation. Kasi sobrang hirap mabuhay sa Pilipinas, sobrang mahal, di ba? Uh, any other than the health insurance, any other concerns ba na meron tayo napapansin sa Pilipinas na dapat nating pinapansin? Or
Well,
other than health insurance?
Okay, can I add to
Yeah.
what was mentioned? Actually, kasi what we've been talking about is mainly life insurance. Eh. So it's diba, parang income replacement siya when somebody dies or if someone contracts a critical illness, diba? But kasi you mentioned earlier, like for example, dialysis or ma-hospital ka, you have to spend consultation fees, ganyan. Those are non-critical, actually non-critical, pero health-related, diba? Health-related. COVID also actually is actually it's not yet, it's not yet covered by life, it's covered by life, but it's not considered critical illness.
Oh, okay.
I want to clarify. It's
Oh,
not
kasi
yet
bago lang ang
considered.
COVID eh.
Yes.
So
Bago
no
lang
one-
siya eh. Actually,
Yeah, no one-
pandemics in general are not covered. It's an exclusion of all insurance companies. Nagkakaroon lang ng special ngayon, parang special accommodation ang mga insurance companies. That's why they cover some parts of it or mga ganyan. But in general, it's an exclusion of all. But anyway, you were saying na, let's say, yung mga hospitalization, mga ganyan. So that's why nga, there are different kinds of insurance. What we just mentioned earlier is just one type, which is life. And there's also non-life, which is medical insurance, health insurance, and for example, HMOs. Those cover mga non-critical but medical related. So that's also actually important that one should consider in terms of financial planning because yun nga parang hospitalization, example, magka-dengue ka, di ba? It's not considered critical, but you will probably be hospitalized for it, di ba? And spend an amount of money. So, yun, that's covered by mga HMOs, mga medical insurance. So, yun yung mga kino-cover ng mga types of insurance na yun. So, in a sense, parang that's why people have actually different kinds of insurance in their portfolio to manage this different kinds of risk. Kasi that's also a risk eh. Kung magkasakit ka tapos hindi nga naman critical but you still get to be hospitalized, or let's say you do may mga non-critical kasi na malaki din yung bill mo, diba, na in terms of hospitalization. You also have to prepare for that. And syempre, yung mga ganon, ideally kasi, you have to have 6 months, diba, in financial planning. You have to have 6 months at the very least this income that is in the bank before you can, that's your emergency fund. So in case something happens to you, parang dapat meron kang at the very least, ang advice nila, rule of thumb, 6 months emergency income, but emergency fund. But actually that depends also on you in a sense na if your job entails na madali ka naman makakahanap ng trabaho if something that happens to you, then your emergency fund can adjust. Pwedeng shorter na lang siya, but let's say if you're an entrepreneur na hindi ganun ka, like example ngayon, COVID, diba? So down ng business, then you have to build an emergency fund that is bigger, diba? So that's also your it's also a financial management tool din siya. So then yun, complement it with insurance products, medical insurance, life insurance, kung may property ka, fire insurance. So there are different types talaga. So yun, you have to assess in terms of what are you trying to protect. Let's say, syempre, initially, life, diba? Kasi ikaw naman yung main breadwinner eh. That's why very important na you protect yourself, adequately protect yourself, diba? And then yun nga, different kinds of parang insurance to address different needs. Like for non-critical hospitalization, you have to have medical, mga ganun. So, yun lang. Just,
Okay. So let me just clarify. Emergency fund right now is ang advisable is 6 months.
yun ang
Mm.
pinasabi. Yeah, usually.
Kasi
Pero
dati
depends.
sa akin,
ah.
I
Depends.
actually have a
Ako,
piece of trivia.
go.
I have actually a piece of trivia. I recently learned why ang pina-prescribe nila is 6 months. That notion actually came from our industry. Because actually there is what we call in the industry, which is total and permanent disability, and there's an insurance coverage for that. So after 6 months of being disabled, you can't work, it kicks in. So meron ka na makukuha on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, depending on how the plan is has been positioned. Ngayon, that's why it's 6 months. You have, kumbaga kasi it will kick in after 6 months. So you have to fend for yourself for 6 months. That's why yung emergency fund pinaprescribe is 6 months. Of course, I agree with Van. It depends on the person. Some people are very, very meticulous about these things, would prefer to have a 1 year emergency fund just to have some peace of mind. But also, totoo din naman yun, if you're kind of, if your work is something that's very high in demand. Like, for example, if you're a nurse right now or a doctor or any frontliner, hindi ka mawawala ng trabaho. So if ever mabakante man tayo, it's not going to take 6 months for that person to get new work. Yun.
yeah.
So, but
sa akin lang nung una, just to quickly or briefly discuss lang ng emergency fund. Sa akin noon, ang akala ko nung una, 3 months. Hindi siya dapat, akala ko, yung 6 months, akala ko 3 months lang. Ngayon, bakit naging 6 months? Is it, I don't know, has the 6-month policy rule been in place ever since? Tulad ng sinasabi mo na ang critical illness, akala ko ngayon lang nagkaroon sa Pilipinas, yun pala dati pa pala yan sa Pilipinas? Or is the 3 months dati, yes, yan yung advisable, ngayon mas kailangan na nating habaan pa because of this? I don't know. So that's not, emergency funds is emergency funds because we need to ensure ourselves just in case we become disabled or temporarily out of work, di ba? Kasi those expenses that we continually incur, our emergency fund will cover that. Ngayon, akala ko lang una is 3 months, ngayon 6 months na pala, di ba? So that's very good to know. So is it advisable in the Philippines 6 months or is there a qualification na parang sinasabi ni Van na parang if, for example, sooner or later you can now go back to work, then the emergency funds can cover for, I mean, shorter, di ba? So, ano ba ang standard or accepted policy on that or rule in that emergency fund? Kasi emergency funds, madali eh. Kasi ipunin ko lang, magtabi lang ako from my income. That's enough, di ba? Insurance is totally different kasi you have to pay for it pa rin, di ba? Pero in terms of emergency funds, what is the safest amount that we, or equivalent of period for us to say, okay, you have enough emergency fund?
Okay, for me kasi, what I know is yes, parang si Kai Cap, it's 3 months rule before as a minimum because we expect na within 3 months, for example, loss of job, we expect na within 3 months makakahanap ka na ng work by that time. But what I know is 3 months is the minimum and then maximum of 6 months. But in this pandemic, everyone is affected and we don't know on the next pandemic or on the future years what industry will be affected. Ngayon kasi all events, those are businesses affected. Pero yung mga transportation, ganyan, hindi yan masyadong affected with the pandemic, right? So we don't know kasi so kaya ang pinaka-recommended recently, what we discussed with our team is 6 months to 1 year na. Yan. Minimum of 6 months and then maximum of 1 year. Because we don't know, we cannot tell. Yan. That's the uncertainties actually that we need to address right now because
Okay.
the world is
Yeah, kasi
evolving.
I guess lalo na sobrang mahal ng lahat ata sa Pilipinas, sobrang mahal. Kaya siguro dapat talaga 6 months to 1 year, di ba? But going back, like okay, just to get a point from Van na sinasabi na COVID-19 as exclusion, I guess because it is considered as a pandemic na para any other pandemic na temporary lang, di ba? Na mawawala rin. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to point
Irvin,
out
sorry
now.
parang kita doon na it's not because mawawala lang siya ha. Parang siyang
Okay.
acts of God.
Ayun, so good. Ano yun?
It's a general, kasi parang for example, di ba, like mga, let's say in contracts, di ba? Parating acts of God, ano siya, hindi siya kasama. Di ba? In contracts, di ba? So, yung mga unforeseen events like earthquakes, di ba, ni-exclude yun sa mga, di ba, in the contracts.
Because
So,
it's unforeseen?
Yes. So, it's because of that.
Not because it's temporary?
Not because it's just temporary.
Oh,
kasi,
good.
Di ba? So, okay. So, yun
Guys,
in that
it's
context.
unforeseen.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, for example, okay, let's go through the process of being COVID-19. Say, for example, I've got the symptoms. Inuubo, shortness of breath. Lahat ng symptoms, I already feel it. Magpapadoktor ako, kailangan ko magpa-test, di ba? COVID-19 testing. Magkano? May bayad ba or libre?
Ang dito, parang may bayad. Parang
May bayad ba?
Meron.
May bayad.
Meron.
May bayad.
Pay for it,
Depends.
tama
May
ba?
bayad.
It depends on the hospital, yes.
So you have to pay for it. Okay,
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
done. If you are negative, good, kasi you don't really have to do anything further. But if you are positive, what are the next steps that you have to do? If you are symptomatic, di ba, ang COVID-19 has to be either symptomatic or asymptomatic. Di ba?
Yeah.
Symptomatic yan, nagmamanifest na lahat ng symptoms sa'yo. Okay, inuubo ka na, yan talagang difficulty in breathing na. You have to be admitted na sa hospital. Di ba? And you have to pay hospital expenses. The stay, professional fees pa ba, the blood test, the use of equipments. Meron ako nakita noon, parang ang ma-infect ka and ma-confine ka sa hospital because of COVID would take you around 1 million pesos. I mean,
depende siguro sa gravity
It
nung
still depends
Yes.
on the,
Diba?
and
And
of
the longer
course
you
with the
stay in the
hospital.
the longer you stay in the hospital, the higher it will get. Okay,
Correct.
hindi natin
One of
sinasabi
my-
critical illness will cover that. Pero somehow, the health insurance, yung HMOs, will cover that.
Yes.
Tama ba
In the
ako?
insurance,
Medical.
yes, correct. In the
HMO,
insurance
di ba?
industry right now, in the insurance industry right now, we have this what we call hospitalization income, wherein it can assist hospitalization bills to a certain amount only. So, for example, halimbawa 1,000 a day, parang ganon. Meron like confinement, na-confine ka within 12 hours, you can claim 1,000 a day, ganon. We have that kind of hospitalization benefit right now in the insurance companies. But it's
1,000
not
pesos?
huge, diba? But yes, 1,000 to 5,000, ganon siya. Then we have ICU, and then, for example, a long-term hospitalization and surgery, ganyan. So we have that kind of right now in the insurance industry.
Okay. So guys, clear, hindi covered ng critical illness ang COVID-19
No.
because it is considered a pandemic and it is an unforeseen event.
Yeah, but
Correct.
medical insurance companies cover it now. There are companies that cater medical insurance, health insurance.
Correct.
Kasi that cover. Actually, I think
Yes.
HMOs right now and some medical health insurance companies cover COVID. Kasi I think pressure din sila because they cannot they covered it. So they cover that.
Yes.
They cover full hospitalization, ganyan. Those are
Also,
health insurance companies.
So with the maximum also, with the maximum amount.
Depends on your coverage. Kasi
Depende kung magkano.
Oh, yeah. Siyempre yung kung kinuha mo, mataas yung coverage. May cover lahat. Kung konti, konti lang.
correct.
Yeah. And I think, okay, go ahead.
Go.
Okay, sa akin kasi, the reason why I'm stressing, I can't stress this enough. COVID-19, akala natin nung una can be easily managed. Ako,
Correct.
personally, I thought 2 to 3 months down the line, mawawala na ang pandemic. Okay? Kasi you just have to, pero 4 to 5 months after, meron pa rin, tumataas pa. Di ba parang I guess, we really, sa akin parang ibang-iba ang COVID-19 that we really need to have an armor in order for us to be protected in this kinds of pandemic or uncertainties or unforeseen events as you speak, di ba? Okay, hindi critical illness kasi it's unforeseen. Critical illness in the sense, paano kunyari lang, my question is this, COVID-19, di ba? You are in that brink, okay? Your condition is getting worse, parang it would take you longer, hindi pa rin ma-cover ng critical illness yun? Is it still because of that exclusion policy or?
Ika-clarify ko yan. When it becomes, COVID-19 itself, di ba? Kasi there are different levels of COVID-19 eh. So let's say, kaya hindi pa siya considered critical like cancer, ganyan. Because there are different levels. But if the COVID-19 progresses, let's say magkaroon ng complications, results to heart attack or to a lung, considered critical, critical already, then it becomes a critical illness.
Correct.
But as it is, just COVID-19, hindi pa siya parang considered, defined. Even if it's really a critical, it's not because it's not critical. It's just to fit the definition of critical illness in life insurance contracts. Hindi pa siya defined as, let's say, as explicit as COVID-19. But if it results to a complication that is considered critical, then it becomes a critical. Parang it's covered already by critical illness.
Correct.
Diba?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to build on.
Explain nga rin.
Just to build on Van's explanations, that's true. COVID-19 is not considered a critical illness. But siguro a scenario na lang na closer to what can make it considered critical illness. Kasi di ba one of the symptoms is yung nahihirapan huminga, which often results to pneumonia. And some medical coverages accept severe pneumonia as a critical illness. So pag yun na yung claim nung patient or nung client, he can possibly claim for a critical illness. But if he's just going to say, I have COVID and this is what I'm going to apply, it's like highly likely that it will be rejected or declined because in fact COVID-19 is still very new, and even if it's been almost 2/3 of the year is done, pero nandyan pa rin siya, hindi pa rin siya considered as critical, especially since yung critical symptoms from COVID-19 is about 1%. Hindi pa siya ma-consider talaga or hindi pa siya ma-define as a critical illness.
Okay, so basically hindi siya, it doesn't go by the name, okay?
Yes.
So it's more of the, if you fit the certain criteria, then you can be qualified na for critical illness. But if you say, oh, I'm infected with COVID-19, I cannot still say I'm covered by critical illness. You have to fit certain qualification in order for you to be qualified for that critical illness. So let's just be clear on that. So say, for example, so COVID-19 is not in itself parang already considers you as critical illness na yan. No, it's not. So you just have to qualify pa. So if you fit that, then clear that. Now, my question is, of course, there are differences in life versus non-life, di ba? Can you just give us a rundown of products that are covered by life and products that are covered by non-life? Kasi parang ako feeling ko, non-life can cover fire, property, I don't know. Baka meron bang parang in between na parang that can fall between life or non-life. But nonetheless, for purposes of informing our guests, can you at least give me a rundown as to, okay, ang life insurance covers this, life, non-life covers this. Can you? Ano ba mga iba't ibang insurances that fall under life, insurances that fall under non-life?
Okay.
Sino muna?
Sige, go. You can go ahead.
All right, sige. If you're going to be strict about it, by the name, life insurances covers the life of an individual. So if the person expires, may ibabalik. Non-life, like you mentioned, is fire, a building. A building that is not a living thing, but it's still insurable because diba, may loss eh. There's a possible loss. That's why we want to insure it. Fire, our car, we insure our car. That's a non-living thing. But if we get into an accident, there's a loss also. Now for life, anything that concerns the ano ba, yung pagiging buhay ng isang tao, that can be considered life insurance. So minsan nabablur yung line. Like health insurance can be handled by the life insurance industry, although like travel insurance, for example, is a non-life product.
Yeah, travel insurance. Oh.
Travel insurance is a non-life product, but it covers you also for accidents. It cover if someone who has travel insurance gets sick and has to be treated where he is. There's also that. Doon siguro nagiging blurry yung lines. But if we're just going to be strict about it, anything that addresses death, the death of an individual, that's life insurance. If it's about loss because of the destruction of a non-living entity like a building through fire, a car through a collision, that's non-life. Van, baka may ma-add si Van.
Okay. Sige. Kasi in the Philippines, actually, minsan technicalities yan ng licensing in terms of life and non-life. Like there are a very siguro ang medyo nakakalito is in terms of health insurance, 'di ba? Health insurance. Kasi ang health insurance, you think about it, para it's connected to life, 'di ba? To 'di ba? To yun, as Red mentioned, parang travel also, 'di ba? Parang connected naman siya to life. Bakit hindi siya but it's in the Philippines, there are companies that are considered non-life but they sell health and medical insurance. Actually, ang HMO is fall under non-life. Okay, it doesn't fall under life insurance, life insurance license. You have to get a non-life license in order to service or to handle life yun yung mga travel insurance, health insurance, yung mga ganong types of plans. So yun doon actually nagkakaroon ng nalilito minsan yung mga tao. Pag health insurance ba this company, let's say, also minsan hahanapan ka ng, let's say, hospitalization. Actually, yun yung pinaka mga hospitalization expenses covering operations, surgeries, mga ganyan. It's not parang yung critical illness benefit actually that is offered as an option. It's a rider tawag namin sa insurance industry. It's an optional benefit. Hindi siya built in sa life insurance product, but it's an additional benefit that's being given to the client, diba? So yung critical illness benefit na lump sum benefit if the person that gets diagnosed of a critical illness, that's actually yun yung parang health, diba? Parang health in health benefit siya. That's being sold under a life, pwede siyang ibenta using a life insurance license. But let's say HMO, diba? hindi yan kinikater ng mga life insurance companies. Yung mga ganong plans, like yung ma-hospital ka, magka-dengue ka, magpapagamot ka ng or like check-up, diagnostic, ganyan. So, hindi yon kasama sa health benefits ng kino-cover ng life insurance companies. Just to make a distinction, those are covered by non-life insurance companies offering, yun nga, health insurance, like HMO, yun yung nila. So parang, pero when you think about it, technically parang life siya. Pero hindi. In the Philippines, iba siya eh. Iba siyang category. Although may mga non-life companies offering health insurance, but they also carry some life. Actually, may mga ganun ako naririnig. So, and then may mga iba-ibang insurance, like for example, if you insure your, not in the Philippines but in other countries, like your hand, diba? May mga athletes, uso yan sa mga abroad, diba? If your thigh is your source of income or your eyes or your, diba sino ba yun? Ako lalabas yung age ko. Si Elizabeth, diba yung, si Violet yung eyes niya. Okay, so in-insure yung mata or something. Basta, that actress. Really? Anyway, yes. So, that actually, when you think about it, it's part of human physical but that's non-life insurance. Mm-hmm. So may mga ganun. Minsan kasi in terms of lang yan technicalities in terms of which is who's regulating it, non-life or life license, ganun. So, pero yun yung distinction actually. So, so yung iba yung critical illness benefit na ino-offer ng life insurance companies. Iba din yung critical illness benefit na ino-offer under mga health insurance. Magkaiba yun Minsan kasi napapabaliktad natin pero magkaiba.
Yeah, kasi I mean,
magkaiba yun.
For an ordinary person like me, if I'm going to base it from what Red said, anything that touches on life will be life. Anything that touches on non-life will be non-life. Say, for example, my properties. But again, thank you for making that distinction kasi there's a fine line distinction between, di ba? May mga like travel insurance that is falling under non-life even though it affects the life of the person. Di ba? So I guess for ordinary person like me or for those people who really have no idea as to how insurances work, I mean, as to what insurances are, then this is a good opportunity for them to learn. Kasi, of course, for me, so is it right for me to say that I would rather have redundancies or overlapping insurances rather than just get, okay, I think, for example, I just bought a house, okay? Of course, hindi naman ito 5 years down the road, bayaran mo na kagad, di ba? Mostly, binabayaran to 20 to 25 to 30 years, di ba? And the problem is, if for example, you die, okay, sana wag naman, pero it happens, di ba? What if a person dies, and say for example, kakasimula pa lang na, say for example, Lloyd Cadena, he just recently bought a new house, di ba? So, tanggalin muna natin yung fact na bumili siya ng MRI. Kung ako ba, kunyari ako nasa shoes ni Lloyd Cadena and I bought a house, okay? And ang thinking ko, in order for me to cover the mortgage, bibili ako ng life insurance na mas malaki sa value ng house. Is that a correct way of thinking or not?
Required ka to get an insurance.
MRI is required.
I understand. But the problem is that enough? Or should I still also go for MRI, yung mortgage redemption insurance, that in case it default, diba?
MRI is required if it's
also required.
under loan. If it's under loan, required na magbayad ka ng mortgage redemption insurance.
Okay,
yes.
Sige, mali siguro yung example ko. Pero ang point ko lang is it safe for me to be,
alam mo, nobody's over-insured. No one.
Correct.
That's
what I'm trying to point out. So, is it okay for me to just have, say for example, life ko, PhilAm and Sun Life? Kasi hindi naman ako insurance, hindi naman ako financial advisor, so okay lang ako magsalita ng company name, di ba? Kasi yun ako I mean, is it okay for me to have both? Or more than two? Or, for
Yeah,
example, sabi na,
the thing is, siguro,
Actually,
let me just interject quickly.
go.
I'll go back to what Van said, that all of these things kasi it goes back to personal financial management. So ang sagot lagi sa mga ganyang scenarios, depende.
Mm-mm.
If we were to use your kasi here in the Philippines, yes, MRI is required every time that you make a loan sa banko. I don't know if that's the case in Canada, but I'm guessing it's the same thing.
Mhm.
If basing it in your scenario na bumili kang bahay, hindi, let's say personal loan, parang inutang mo na lang sa kamag-anak mo.
Mm,
So para maalis natin yung MRI na option.
correct.
Matalik mong kaibigan si Fresel or si Van at napakayaman niya. So sabi
Mayaman
mo,
talaga siya.
mayaman si
Mayaman
Van.
talaga si Miss Van.
Mayaman
So
talaga
sabi
siya.
mo, sabi mo na lang, Van, Van, pautang ako ng pangbayad ng bahay for 30 years. Tapos babayaran ko on a monthly basis, which is okay, with certain interest. So just to get the MRI aspect out of the way. Kung we're going back to the question, is it enough that you get insurance for the total value of the house, the loan, or kung ano yung hihiramin mo kay Van? Yes, it makes sense. So that if anything happens to you within the 25 to 30 years that you're paying the house, kung may kasunduan lang kayo ni Van na if something happens to me o may insurance ako, sa'yo to, bayad na yung utang. So, bayad na yung utang kay Van. Now, is it enough? Depende. In our agency, in our group, we usually ask those of our clients na are getting whatever insurance, especially if they are breadwinners and they want to continue their income. Tatanong namin is gaano kabata yung bunso mo, because dito sa Philippines, usually pag 25 years old na, kaya nang tumayo sa sarili niya. So if you
Mm-mm.
have a 1-year-old, for example, how much would you need to be able to provide for that 1-year-old for 24 years if something happened to you at that moment? So in the case of the house, sige, bayad na yung bahay because may insurance naman na nagbayad kay Van ng inutang for the house. Pero yun bang maiiwan dun sa bahay, may panggastos?
Mhm.
Without you, may panggastos ba yung mga maiiwan sa bahay? So then we have to take account kung magkano yung kailangan nila before they can quote unquote move on and be able to fend for themselves without you or without the person who
Support.
was the income earner.
Mhm.
Kaya again, long story short, the answer to whatever is enough is depende. What is enough for you?
Okay,
Correct.
so talagang pinahirapan niya talaga ako mag-decide, ano? But I guess tama naman because you cannot decide for the person himself. Because the person has to really, siya ang may lase. Kasi, syempre, you are only there to offer the things that the person needs. Okay, we think this might be appropriate for you, but at the end of the day, it's for you to decide. Diba? So again, my question is, in the Philippines right now, is there a changing mindset in the sense that more people are open to having these insurances? I understand merong MRI kasi it is required by the government. It is legislated. It is required. But of course, there are other things that are not mandated by the government. Diba? MRI, kasi wala tayong magagawa. It has to be. Auto insurance, di ba? Bago ka mag-register ng sasakyan, you have to provide an insurance policy because that is required. Okay? Home insurance, that is required. Pero paano yung mga hindi mandated by the government? Yung hindi minamandate ng batas. my question is this:
Mm.
is there a changing mindset among Filipinos na in the sense na, okay, I think more Filipinos are now receptive in securing an insurance policy for themselves, or medyo is that a bit of a struggle for you still, guys, in the industry?
Well,
I can say, mm, go.
sige, Press has something to say.
Yeah, Faisal?
In this pandemic, yes, in this pandemic kasi there are people who have changed their mindset about insurance.
Mhm.
They know now about the importance of having it. Kasi si COVID, hindi mo alam kung kailan ka tatamaan eh, because we don't know, we cannot see yung kalaban natin. So anytime soon, pwedeng may mangyari sa atin, and if we cannot recover, then what happens to our dependents, our families, yan. So there are friends of mine who have changed mindset because of the pandemic itself, because of COVID-19. And balikan ko lang yung sa mortgage redemption insurance, just an additional information. The life insurance, we can also um, give that as in lieu of MRI. So kasi ang MRI is additional expense to our monthly amortization.
Mhm.
So for example, like me, I have around 2,000 per month for the MRI. But because I have a life insurance, I can assign that life insurance na meron na ako na binabayaran before. So kumbaga mas nakatipid ako with the monthly amortization because I assigned my own life insurance policy with this na may coverage with the amount of loan yon. So
Mhm.
additional information lang that if we have an existing life insurance, then we get a loan, home loan, we can put that life insurance in lieu of that mortgage redemption insurance para makatipid din tayo dun sa monthly amortization
And
natin. Ayan,
that's the
inad
current
ko lang.
situation here in Canada. Kasi sa Canada, pagka either you can get an MRI or your life insurance can cover that. So nung
Mm.
bumibili kami ng bahay, when we were talking to the bank, they're offering us yung life insurance na parang that will cover
Mm-mm.
yung payment ng bahay. Pero sabi ko, hindi, other than that, yung MRI, sabi ko, meron na akong life insurance na would be covering yung amount ng mortgage, and then eventually, I don't really need the MRI anymore. So I guess just to
Mm-mm.
clarify that, okay?
Mm-mm.
Anything else you want to add?
Ayun,
Yan. Gi-
just to, again, build on dun sa idea na mas nagiging open na ba? Um, most of our management committee, yung mga who talked before the whole agency says yes, because of the availability of information also, because
Mm.
of the internet, number one, and because the new generation, the millennials nga daw, are very tech savvy. So ngayon nga is usually ang nangyayari na nga ngayon is that they will just look for an advisor so that they will be able to get the insurance. But they already know what they want. They already know how
Mm.
it works. They just need the person to be able to provide it to them. Kung pwede ngang dumiretso sila sa company, I think gagawin din nila yun.
Gagawin nila.
And this is of course it varies then also because like in Canada, in the United States, in Europe, where insurance and the social services are very very high top notch, and
Efficient.
very
Mm.
very prevalent naman sa everyone is required to have insurance. Alam na talaga, very, very aware ang mga tao. Now, in the Philippines, yes, in that case, since we're connected also, alam na natin na, oh, America, Canada, very aware sa insurance. And this is just my point of view. So, uh,
Mm.
I feel that dahil nga uso pa rin naman yung ano eh, uy, galing sa abroad or sa US or sa ibang bansa. So, siguro maganda to. So, yung ganung thinking na we need to have that also. And it's helping more individuals, more Filipinos become aware of the need of insurance. And tama si Tre said, because of the pandemic, they're more aware na, oh, kailangan pala. Because um, life can really be fleeting. Like for for people who have severe symptoms, magkaroon lang sila ng symptoms in a few days, they could expire already.
Exactly.
And yun nga, as you mentioned before, the cost of critical patients with critical symptoms of COVID. I have a friend, actually a coworker in my agency. Yung dad niya contracted COVID, had to be hospitalized 100,000 pesos a day. So that's about what, $2,000 a day.
Wow.
Really? Ano naman kasi St.
2,000. Well, oo. Well,
Oh,
St.
man.
Luke's niya.
And,
St.
and
Luke's
that's
niya.
why
Thank
a lot of people would rather prefer to go on a public hospital rather than go there because money is an issue, di ba? So
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So again, yeah. So like what you said, there's a changing mindset. Yes, people are now becoming more open, bolstered by this COVID-19 pandemic because nakikita natin everywhere around the world that it is not a simple issue or matter that, hey, I can recover from this. Diba? We've been seeing a lot of people um, well, moving on, diba, sa pandemic, whoever contracted this. Now, my question is, um, when I was applying for an insurance, okay, during my time dun sa life insurance, merong na-mention about may authority yung financial advisor to offer a certain type of plan without the need of a medical examination.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, that time it was 500,000 ata. Pero, I mean, can you tell me more about this? Is it more 500? Is it higher than 500,000 now? Lower than 500,000 now? And is it still do insurance? Does the insurance industry offer this still, or hindi na?
I think you're talking about the non-medical authority.
Yeah, the non-medical authority.
Yeah.
Medical authority. So it's basically so every time we apply for life insurance, we are underwritten or ibig sabihin ine-evaluate kung ka-cover nga ba tayo. Or basically they are studying if it's risky ba to cover the person or not. That's why in application forms there are questions about medical history, if we have been diagnosed with a certain illness, or if the family has a history of such and such illness. That serves as a guide for the advisor to basically the company is like deputizing the financial advisor. The nurses, the doctors of the company is deputizing the financial advisor. You can evaluate the health of this person by just by having him or her answer these medical questions honestly. So yun yung non-medical authority. Now dun sa rate, I don't know if yung 500,000 is dyan sa Canada or if that was your experience here in the Philippines.
In the Philippines. So is 500,000. So different companies have different parang medical authority.
Yes.
Yeah. So but typically in the industry, ngayon for someone it varies kasi the NMA also on the age of the person that you are interviewing or assessing. So I can just share what in what I know is that, for example, someone from 18 to 30 years of age, the non-medical authority of an advisor can go up to 12 million pesos already now. That means na if that person is applying for an insurance na ang coverage is 12 million pesos, pwede nang hindi magpa-medical exam yung client because of the assessment of the advisor, basta lahat ng medical questions dun sa client, like for example, have you been diagnosed of a heart ailment? Lahat ng mga answers dun is no. And in the medical history ng client, wala namang nag-show na ganun yung situation. Doon, hindi na kailangan mag-medical exam, the 12 million will be granted. But then, if the age of the person applying for insurance is 31 to 40, the 10 million is now down to 8. And as we age, like by 65, mga 1 million na lang ngayon yung, if you're applying for insurance at 65 years old na, 1 million yung non-medical authority. So, if let's say gusto nung client na gusto ko 1 million and 10 pesos, automatic magpapa-medical exam yun if he's 65 years old, even if he answers no to all the medical questions.
Oh, so it also depends on the age pala.
Yes.
Pero how can you detect, di ba? Like for example, certain diseases that are showing for older people are now showing in the younger generation. How can you parang detect that? Wala. So
Well,
really more of faith and trust on the person answering the questions?
Well, una-una, the idea is when you are talking with the client or the person applying insurance, you ang expectation is he or she is telling the truth when you ask the question. Ngayon, most applications these days ay merong MIB. Forget if it's Medical Investigation Bureau, but I'll get back to you. I'll Google the term first. But so even if you say no and hindi mo and sa palagay mo naman I'm very healthy. For example, I'm the one answering. Alam ko naman healthy ako. Hindi ako alam naman natin ang mga Pilipino hindi yan mahilig magpa-check up. So hindi ako nagpapa-check up. Hindi ko alam na meron na pala akong hypertension, let's say. So I just answer no. But if in one of my annual physical exams nakita na pala na may hypertension ako, that gets reported to the MIB. Insurance companies have access to this MIB, so they will be able, they will be able to see your medical history. And doon i-base. Doon ka lang i-ask bigla. Babalikan ka ni underwriter to ask parang, parang hindi sinabi nung client mo na may hypertension siya, pero na-detect sa kanyang APE may hypertension siya. Saka lang yun, saka ka lang hihingan ulit na medical exam. Pero yun.
So, sorry,
pero from the onset,
database that you were talking about, this is a database among the insurance companies.
Insurance, the medical industry.
The
so
medical
actually,
industry.
whenever we go to a doctor, to a clinic to get a checkup, he actually has to report that na si Irvin went for a checkup dito.
Yeah.
That's available to all hospitals, to all doctors. Wait, I will Google the term and get back to you with it now.
Okay. Siguro si Martha might add some information, but ako lang, question ko lang, kasi sa akin, dito kasi sa Canada, of course, free ang public health. Okay, so centralized din dito yung information. So, for example, I was able to go to Dr. Van for a consultation, and she has found out, or she diagnosed me, say, for example, I've got a kidney disease. Okay. And I get a second opinion from, say, Dr. Fraser. Then Dr. Fraser can pull up my record, okay, and then check, okay, or Irvin, may ailment ka. And I think that is the basis for the insurance companies to check on my records. Kasi dito, public, hindi public ang information, but we give consent to disclose our health information to people. Is this, ito ba sa Pilipinas? Kasi itong sinasabi ko lang na central database is government undertaking. Is this the same undertaking in the Philippines? Is it a government undertaking or not?
Erwin,
Kasi, for example, in the Philippines,
okay.
sorry?
Yung kasi yung question mo kanina was bakit may mga yung when you got here when you got an insurance here parang 500,000 hindi ka na pinamedicals. Parang yun yung question mo.
Yeah, sa Philippines.
Yeah. Yung mention kasi ni Red na non-medical authority, it's actually a privilege given to the financial advisor as the first underwriter. So it will depend on the company policy, the tenure also of the advisor, and the age of the insured. Tsaka depende yon sa declarations on the application form. So, may mga limits na binibigay yung each company to their advisors in terms of if this person, based on the declarations, will need additional medical exam or hindi na. So, yun yung parang non-medical authority. But still, since it's a privilege, the underwriters pa rin from the head office can still require actually medical examinations. It's just that sometimes kasi kung example, wala naman, very healthy, ganyan lahat ng declarations niya. So it's possible na hindi na hinga ng medical. So yun
so initially, kunyari ako, I come to Fresel, I need something. I need a life insurance. Now, kunyari 22 years old. 22 years old, kunyari pumunta ako kay Fresel. And then Fresel, okay, Cap, ganito. I have the NMA for this. So even if she says, kasi may questionnaire yan, di ba? So I answered the questionnaire before, and basically, when I answer that questionnaire, it will be processed by the company, and the company will be reviewing the questionnaires and the answers that and my answers, and then we'll check the database, and then would have the final decision-making capacity or capabilities to say, okay, Irvin is now qualified. We don't really require any further medical examinations from him, or actually, Irvin, meron kami nakita sa'yo, you still need to have this. So technically, ganun ba ang nangyari?
I don't think they check on the MIB upon application, ha. As in, that's not the that's actually siguro baka sa claims. I'm not sure kung sang part ng process yung MIB na pumapasok. But there is an MIB that Red mentioned. But in terms of on application, on yung new application, let's say you siguro specifically you ask, say, Fresel, I need a 1 million insurance, ganyan. So you sign up the application form, and then wala ka naman declarations, let's say, you're healthy, you have no, you have nothing na to declare because nga, diba, clean naman siya, ganyan, clean case, ganyan. So let's say the company has a policy, okay, si Fresel has a non-limit authority of up to 3 million. Mm-hmm. Then, because yung application mo is parang kasi we call it in the industry clean case, parang ibig sabihin wala kang declarations that you're healthy, ganyan, then they would not require it anymore, more medical, so they will assume that kasi meron ka rin sinasignan doon that you declared diba, everything that you declared in your form is true . So you're also then liable ka rin kung nag-lie ka, kasi we're also in good faith na since you answered correctly, 'di ba? Kasi you have to also consider that meron contestable period ang mga insurance companies na 2 years. So if you lied in your insurance application form, then something happens to you, then they can actually backtrack your mga past records, ganyan, kasi they will investigate before naman they release the claim . So yun.
I see. Yeah. Oo nga, pag nag-claim ka kasi, titingnan nila. Okay. So ngayon, now that we have mentioned that, now that we are in this advanced age, di ba, where computers are very common na, di ba? We're doing mostly online na. The question is, before when I was applying for my life insurance, I have to sit down with my financial advisor. Okay? So basically, ang point ko lang dati is more of like, wherever you are, you have to talk to a financial advisor in person. Now,
Yeah.
is it still a requirement? Or say, for example, I'm here in Canada, or not really Canada. Sabihin natin, I'm here in Cagayan de Oro. Kunyari nandito ako sa Cagayan de Oro. And si Van nasa Alabang. Is it possible for me to talk to Van in Alabang and say, oh, Van, I would like to get an insurance. And okay, Irvin, pwede naman. And say, for example, I can make an application in the Philippines, in Cagayan de Oro, or do I need to meet with the financial advisor in person? So ang application ba can be done online or hindi?
Pwede na.
Yes, it can be. Mm-mm.
So
Pwede.
pwede naman.
Mm-mm.
During
In
this
our
pandemic,
company, I think yes. Yeah, during this pandemic, I think one no. In the company that I'm associated with, until December, we are allowed to have the online application for insurances. But for further announcement after that December approval. Mm-mm.
Okay. So basically pwede na. Ngayon, gusto ko lang malaman.
Yes.
I mean, we're somehow medyo clarified na tayo with the insurance and how we can better protect ourselves. Now, my question is, it's more of the, like what you said, there's a changing mindset, di ba? But in terms of cost, okay, is it even as, how can I say this? Is it more advisable? I mean, the cost in itself in securing an insurance is, of course, it's not free. But the younger you get the insurance, at the younger you are in getting an insurance, the lower the payments will be. Because technically speaking, the lifespan is longer, di ba? Rather than when you're older, di ba? Yung unforeseen events are medyo pwede nang mangyari. But the question is, medyo tumataas din ba ang cost ng insurances right now? In securing an insurance? Kasi sa akin, magkano lang ba insurance ko sa life insurance ko? Siguro less than 20,000 a year ata. Or a month pala.
Wow, 20,000
A year.
tagal na nun tagal na nun, for sure. Kung 20,000.
20,000 a month, wow.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think kasi factors that influence the cost of insurance is una, the type of insurance, 'di ba? Kasi may mga insurance naman na not very costly. Very it's a myth na mahal ang insurance because sa maraming different kinds of insurance products, 'di ba? There's also term, there's VUL, there's additional, there's a lot of different kinds. There's always one that will fit one's budget. I'm sure of that.
Correct.
Diba? So, myth talaga yon na mahal siya. But what affects the cost actually is your age. Age, health, and your health. Diba? So parang I always tell my friends, sabi ko, money is not the one that buys you insurance. It's your health. Kasi yung mga tao na gusto na lang kumuha ng insurance, kahit may pera sila, pero they're not healthy. They cannot buy insurance.
They're not qualified.
So it's not really, parang, don't focus so much on the cost. Focus on your health. Kasi kahit gusto mo bumili, kung hindi ka naman healthy, you can't buy, diba? So yun. So those are the things.
Minsan kasi huli na eh. Minsan,
yes,
tama ka. Minsan huli na parang kailan naman ako tinamaan ng sakit sa kapa.
Yeah, oo.
Diba? So I would really suggest and I would really recommend for people to get insurance even though you feel like you're very healthy. Na parang
That's
sige.
the perfect time to buy. Actually.
Exactly. And kahit bata ka pa, di ba? Kasi usually, di ba, standard naman ang payment kumuha ako ngayon, I'm say for example 20 years old. Pretty sure ang premium ko masyado mababa, di ba? As compared to a 30-year-old. Ngayon, my point is, as you go through paying those premiums, it will not increase, tama ba? Kasi it will be more parang equitably distributed over time. So kunyari, ang binabayaran ko, like myself, I'm paying 20,000 a year because kinuha ko na bata pa ako. Hanggang ngayon, yung lang ang binabayaran ko. Pero kung magsisimula ako ngayon, kano na ba ang standard? Kung ako, a 35-year-old guy na obese, sabihin natin obese, di ba? Sabihin natin ang binabayaran ko ngayon, 40,000 ba a year? 50,000?
Depende, di ba?
Okay.
Depende on the amount.
Sabihin natin
of
wala
money
akong
you
sakit.
want.
Di ba? Sabihin natin 50,000. But the point is, yung 20,000 ko na binabayaran, sana na kinuha ko noon, di ba? Ngayon, sana kinuha ko na noon para 20,000 lang ang binabayaran ko. Ngayon, 50,000. Di ba? Ang mahal. Sobrang mahal. So it really discourages me more to actually get an insurance. Kasi ang mahal. Di ba? Magkano lang ba ang sweldo ko? Sabihin na natin, ang sweldo ko lang, sabihin natin, 500,000 per year. Di ba? Sabihin natin. Or sabihin natin 700,000 a year. O 50,000, 70,000 a month or 60,000 a month. Tapos 50,000 ang insurance ko per month, per year. Alam mo yun, parang the cost, tama ka, sinasabi ni Van, na parang hindi dapat maging conscious about the cost. Kasi dapat, you really have to think long term kung ano ang plano mo. Parang, di ba, kung ano dapat mong gawin. Kasi of course, at the end of the day, it's more of your health that you need to be conscious of, not really about the cost, di ba? Nawala si Bana. Okay, so anyway, so the point is, for me, I feel like for most Filipinos are technically very, siguro they need more information. They need more resources in order for them to find out what insurance is. The problem, I think, with insurance ngayon, una, I don't know if they're readily available online. Are they readily available online ba or hindi?
Depende sa company eh. The thing kasi with life insurance is it's still talaga it's a personal selling matter. You still need to talk to someone. And I think na-institute yung guideline na yan to be talking to someone because that someone, that advisor or whoever you're talking to will help you plan out yung kukunin mo at saka kung anong basically we're here kasi to ask what's your objective and how do you intend to get there, so let us help you. Can you get it online? I think in more advanced countries, yes, you can actually get that online. Ngayon, alam ko that you can apply online for non-life, like travel insurance. I think you can apply for that already online. But I don't have any knowledge of any of the insurance companies right now allowing yung online application. At the very least, mag-apply ka online, you fill out all the forms, pero may ipapasa pa rin yon ni company or whoever's handling the database of the online applications, napasa pa rin yon to a person.
Okay. Yeah, kasi for example, in travel insurances, certain credit card companies have now integrated travel insurance in their credit cards. Diba? Yeah. Dito sa Canada, say for example, ang Capital One, in-integrate na nila yung travel insurance. As long as you purchase, say for example, a ticket using your Capital One, travel insurance is included. Pero in terms of in the Philippines, this is a separate product that you have to purchase, diba?
Yeah.
So going back to Van, I agree na kailangan talaga nating maging conscious about the health. And I would really suggest for more younger people to not be afraid in exploring this. Okay, this is not as complicated as it seems. nung una kasi syempre, ang daming produkto ng life eh. Ang daming produkto ng non-life. Hindi ko alam kung ano ba dapat ang kunin ko. Kung kukunin ko lang yung life, that alone magkano na, di ba? So it's more of like just trying to recap of what all of you said. Like what Red said, income replacement, income continuation. We cannot be afraid to actually explore this because it might be too late just in case you are now ready to get an insurance. Sabihin natin you're already 40 years old. Well and good if you have a clean bill of health, 'di ba? Na parang kahit papaano when you answer those questions, no, 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 no. And for example, um, you were approved and you have to claim and yeah, you were able to claim kasi nga you were truthful in saying na, oo, wala kang nga sakit at that time. Pero paano kung meron ka ng medical condition? Di ba? And say for example, hindi naman terminal. Wag natin sabihin terminal. I don't want to be saying terminal diseases. But rather, for example, a very serious condition na that will affect your finances in the long run. Di ba? So somehow, it might be too late now for you to get an insurance kasi that alone is already an exclusion. Di ba? Na parang, Irvin, sorry, hindi ka na qualified. Di ba? So at the end of the day, huli ka na. Eh, paano pa kaya kung nasa Pilipinas ka na hindi libre ang expenses mo sa hospital? Di ba? So, alam mo yun, parang, and that's the problem among Filipinos, na parang hindi sila nagpapacheck just because, una, they don't have an insurance, and secondly, they don't have any means to pay. Di ba? That's why we really need to be wise now. Not just in this pandemic, but rather, I mean, everywhere we go at any time of the day, because it is our health that we're talking about. At the end of the day, it is not just us who's affected, but at the same time, the family around us, our friends, our loved ones around us who will be affected as well. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure, sa mga kapatid mo na may asawa na who have moved on, saying, for example, they have their own concerns na rin on their own, di ba parang hindi mo rin sila mamabother, di ba? Kahit paano, you have to depend on yourself, di ba? Unless may kaibigan ka tulad ni Van na sobrang yaman na pwede kong lapitan pa yung pera, di ba? Na parang...
Can you set the record straight? That's a myth. Baka maniwala yung mga audience mo. Ano?
But the point is, we need to be self-reliant. We need to be more independent. We cannot... Wag na natin sanang i-bother yung mga pamilya natin na may sakit ako, na i-drag down natin yung family natin. Kasi at the end of the day, they also have their own struggles, di ba? Na parang hindi lang ikaw ang winuworry nila. What if, for example, I'm a son and I needed help? I don't have, say, for example, siblings, and I only have my parents. My parents, say, for example, retired na. Saan kami pupulutin ngayon, di ba? So I think it's more of, we need to change our mindset in the sense that insurances are there to help us, not to complicate our lives, but to help somehow lay out our future. It is not something that, hey, Irvin, ang dami, 1 to 100 ang produkto namin, mamili ka. No, it's not that, but rather, what do I need? What can I gain from my insurance in the long run? Na para, okay, I wanted to secure my life. I wanted to secure my house. I wanted to secure, say for example, all the mortgages that I have. And say for example, yung health ko while I'm still alive, di ba? So I would be somehow getting HMO kasi ayoko magbayad. So magbayad na ako ng dahan-dahan na magkano ba HMO? 100 pesos ba? A month? Okay. Okay. Rather than paying
siguro mga nasa 20 to 30 rough estimate, more or less.
Okay.
20 to 40, depends on the age.
Kesa magbayad ako ng CT scan, magkano ang CT scan sa Pilipinas? MRI, magkano ang MRI sa Pilipinas? Diba? Ang nag-offer lang noon, puro private hospitals. Diba? Ang mahal na. Alam ko ang CT scan nasa 10,000 ba? Sabihin natin around that. And you, other than that, diba? Diagnostics, consultation, and of course, long-term care, medicines, ang mahal, di ba? So, sa akin, it's time for us to really just educate people. We're not trying to somehow impose. This is not another financial seminar. No, it is not. This is me talking to my friends who are in the insurance industry who know better. Kasi ako, kahit papano, hindi pa ako mulat sa mga nangyayari dito sa sa insurance, di ba? Ang dami ko pang dapat malaman and evolving, ika nga. So we really need to be more educated. Now, as we close this discussion, and I guess thank you guys for helping me out in discussing this. I know a lot of people would be enlightened by this. Hopefully, di ba? It is not a one-time solution na parang, alam mo yun, na parang this was answer all their questions. It is not. But coming from a point of view of a layman like me, di ba, somehow would help me gain more understanding as to the insurances available out there. Tulad ng sinasabi ninyo, like what you have reinforced, this is your choice, Irvin. We present to you and we look for plans that will be appropriate for you. And at the end of the day, you will have to decide. But the point is, it is you who will be in control of this situation, not us. Diba? The financial advisors are there because they know what products to offer you. But at the end of the day, ikaw lang din ang parang bahay lang yan. Ang real estate brokers, they know kung ano yung mga bahay na gusto mo. Ano ba yung gusto mong bahay? Mamili ka. Then, hahanap kami ng bahay na mag-tailor fit doon sa gusto mo. And we will provide you options. Oh, meron ako nakita 3 bahay. Ikaw na mamimili at the end of the day. Bibili ka ba ng 1, 2, 3, o wala kang bibili? Diba? So the point is, it's more of like, we guys, as Filipinos, we have to be financially wise na. Okay? Gone are the days that once we receive our salary, spend it on food or inuman or whatever. As we grow older, diba, we have to be more wiser in the sense of where to invest this money. Ako kasi namulat ako sa isang environment na we really need to invest our money, di ba? Ako, sabihin natin kuripot ako. Ano yung sinasabi mo, Red, na about other term of, kuripot?
Financially prudent.
Financially prudent, di ba? Kasi I want to make sure that every money that I have or receive counts. Alam ko dapat na ilalabas. Kaya nga nung nasa Pilipinas pa ako, bumili na ako ng insurance. Bumili na ako ng condo. Kasi I know for a fact that ito ang investment.
So, okay. Yaman talaga na Irvin. Joke.
Van mukhang si Irvin
Projection.
ang tangan natin.
Oo nga eh. Projection yan. Go.
I mean, the point is, ako namulat na ako, pero paano pa yung mga kaibigan natin, yung mga kakilala natin na hindi pa, di ba? So again, it is not about the cost, it is about your health that is on the line, and you have to decide whether you are ready to take on the challenge or not, di ba? So again, I just would like to somehow ask a last question lang na parang, now, when people are ready to get in touch with you and get an insurance, how can they contact each one of you? One is from Nueva Ecija, one is from Makati, one is from Alabang, but right now you're telling me that anyone can apply online. I know for a fact that different companies might have different plans, okay, tailor-fitting those needs of the people. Now, in case they are now ready to secure their lives and wanted to talk to you, how can they reach you out? Let's start with Red.
Well,
you can disclose any contact details or not. Basta if you feel like you cannot, then it's fine, right? So, but if, for example, you can disclose your contact details, say, for example, email addresses that are more permanent, if they can reach you in that email address, then by all means, go. Kasi the point is, if we're posting this on YouTube, this can be watched many times in the future, not just today, not just tomorrow or next month or next year. But say, for example, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, nakilala ko si Ren, paano ko ba siya pwedeng kontakin? Baka nandun pa rin siya, baka financial advisor pa rin siya. So, I'm just saying that if you can disclose your contact details so that people can contact you, okay, down the
Sige.
road. Yeah.
So sige, siguro I'll skip my email because that will divulge my company. So let's stick na lang, napaka social media friendly naman ang mga Pilipino. So I just share my Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. It's Red Pacetes as yung pangalan ko. Just look for Red Pacetes. I think I just have one lang naman na dummy account na to my name. But anyway, Red Pacetes on Facebook. You can send me a message via Messenger. If you want to contact me via Viber or WhatsApp, my number is 0906 443 7746. Again, it's 0906 443 7746.
Okay, so just to go back, sinasabi mo ang social media account mo ay Red Pacetes.
Pacetes.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at your
on
Facebook
Facebook.
right now. Isa lang, no?
Yeah,
Ito bang Red Pacetes Alfred Luis?
yeah, that's it.
Okay, so isa lang naman eh. May lumalabas
Isa
na
lang.
iba, Alfredo C. Pacetes, Red Pacetes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
guys, if you need to contact Red Pacetes, his Facebook name is Red Pacetes, and then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, Alfred Luis. Okay, so makikita niyo naman yung mukha niya.
Ay, kalbo kong ulo, makikita niyo naman dun.
Oh, yun. So ano ba tong nasa profile pic mo? I save lives. I'm a protection advocate. Next. Okay, next. You, Preso?
Okay, so you can also contact me on my Facebook. So, yung name ko written, Fresel Honorio /Kabansag yan. That's my full name. So, isa lang din naman yung account ko. But I have my page. Please like also and follow Ma'am She Fresh. So, you can call me Ma'am She Fresh too. That's it.
Sa
So,
sa Facebook?
yes, Facebook too.
Mom
So,
C. Fresh?
my personal, yes, Ma'am She Fresh. FR.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, Ma'am She Fresh. Okay.
okay. So
That's
you
it. Mm-mm.
okay, so meron ka rin sa profile picture mo. Okay, all right. So, Mom C. Freso. And you, Van?
Okay, so ako naman, okay, also you can contact me via Facebook Messenger or Facebook. You can look for Vanessa Abrenica or you can email me. I renamed my profile with my email address. So you can also contact me through my email. So abrenica.vanessa@gmail.com.
Okay. So
Thank
thank you. And also, so just to recap, you can contact Red through his Facebook page, and you can contact his mobile number. You've got Viber, WhatsApp, what else?
Telegram.
Telegram, okay. And then you've got Fresel Honor Cabansag, who has also a Facebook page. You can search her on Facebook through her name, Fresel Honor Cabansag, and she has a Facebook page which is called Mommy Fresh. Fresh or
Ma'am
Fresh?
She. Ma'am She
Mom-
Fresh.
F-R-E
Zay.
F-R-E-Z, Mom She Fresh. And you can also contact again si Vanessa or Van through her email address, which is abrenica.vanessa@gmail.com. Dito pa lang, very royal na. Abrenica.vanessa@gmail.com.
Baka kasi yung artista yung mag-come up pag sinerch nila. So, linagay ko na lang yung name.
Anyway, so again guys, maraming salamat for joining us today. To be honest, medyo bitin. Siguro let's set up another discussion of this insurance.
Part 2.
Na parang more on particular discussion ng mga produkto. Kasi I know for a fact that this is very general. Introduction, ang hirap i-compress into 1 hour. Lumagpas na nga tayo, mag-2 hours na tayo, di ba? So, the point is, marami pwede pang pag-usapan. And guys, this is not something that we want to discuss to you on a financial advisor level, but rather on a very layman's level. So, please watch out. We will try to gather again these people. I know they're very busy. Sobrang tagal ko na pinaplano pero ang hirap talaga. But again, this is very eye-opening for each and every one of us, me especially. If I can still get, pwede pa ba akong kumuha ng insurance sa Pilipinas kung sakali?
Of course,
Hindi.
kuha ka, tigi-tigisa kami.
Pag, no, kasi you're there ng
Ay, in
Canada,
Canada.
eh.
Yeah, oo.
Cannot.
Hindi ako pwede
Pag-uwi mo
kumuha.
ng Pilipinas.
Pag uwi mo ng Philippines, you can, yes.
Akala ko ba pwede na online?
Yes,
Yeah,
pwede
but
online, but
within
the
the
insurance
jurisdiction.
commission, syempre,
Okay.
kailangan nasa Pilipinas ka pa din.
Okay, we will discuss that later. Anyway, again, maraming salamat po for joining us today. Red Pacetes as one of our guests. We've got President Honorio Cabansagos also from now Nueva Ecija. Nueva Ecija na ba magiging headquarters mo? Or is it
For this
kaya?
pandemic, yes.
Huh?
For this
Sorry.
pandemic lang.
Okay.
For-
Pero saan ka usually pagkatapos ng pandemic?
Makati.
Okay, Makati, and we've got Alabang. Vanessa Abrenica Van, thank you so much for joining us. Si Van has been in the industry for a very long time, and she's doing this not because this is her bread and butter, but this is her advocacy. I guess this is the same for Presel, this is for the same for Red Pacetes. And guys, you can reach out to her anytime, any day. Just leave them a message, leave them an email, contact them through their Viber, and they will definitely respond to you. Again, thank you guys, and have a good night. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Till
Bye.
next time.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.